song. You gave me my hand to reach out to man, show him your love and your perfect plan. You gave me my ear so I can hear your voice. But can I wipe away? Listen, whatever about all of these things. No, I'm a friend. Come on, everybody. If you're ready for the word today, let me hear you say, my will. Come on, everybody. One big part. I'll do what you say. You be show someone the way that it never be the same. My story, and I am. I'm available to you. I am available to you. My story and I am available. Psalm 27. If you weren't here Tuesday of anniversary, let me read it for you. I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. I want to look at verse 13. He says, I have fainted unless I had believed. Do you see that? Yes. I had fainted. I had fainted. I would have lost hope. But somewhere between there and this and this and there and that, I had to come to the realization that I have to believe.
All right.
Remember, David is, in some instances, as explained, he's having a mood swing.
Yes.
Because at one point he's talking about the Lord being his light and salvation, whom shall he fear? And then by the time you get to verse 10, he's talking about in my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will raise me up. So he's having some, in a sense, some emotional crises, and he's actually going through some of the same emotions and encounters that you and I endure.
Amen.
And I want to raise the question, no, not a question, but I guess my thought today would be taken from verse 13, where he says, unless I had believed.
All right.
That's what I want to look at. Unless I had believed. Thank you. Thank you, ushers. Let me say that as challenging as life can be, and as challenging as life is already, we have to keep believing in the goodness of the Lord. have to keep believing in the goodness of the Lord. And I'll be the first to admit that life is full of unwanted, unpredicted circumstances. Life is. And it is and it can be very challenging. And I know many of you are super saved. You're superhuman. But sometimes life will get the best of the best. Will get the best of you. You have done all you can for your family, with your spouse. And sometimes it just appears that even then, that your best is not good enough. You're not the only one. Sit back and wonder, you're doing right by people. And the Negroes that you've done right by do wrong by you. It will get the best of you. Have you perplexed? You have to, some kind of way, come to the realization to say, I'm in betwixt. I'm caught up, if I can use the word, on an emotional roller coaster. Matter of fact, let me just put it this way: life is rough. And one of the concerns of the text with life being as difficult as it is, as I explained and expound even the more on last Tuesday night, is that what Satan will do, Satan get us bound when he get us caught up in fear. And then we get to that place where instead of our faith overriding our fears, if you're not careful, your fears will override your faith. Because in many cases, many of us see with our eyes instead of seeing with our heart. And that's why when you pray to God, don't ask God to open your eyes. You got to ask God to open up your heart. Are you understanding me? You got to ask God to open up your heart. Because see, if he just open up your eyes, you'll stop doing for people as you should, because you'll see people using you or trying to get the best of you. If he only open up your eyes, you will see everybody is trying to get over. Everybody is trying to take advantage of. If he only opened up your eyes, but when you ask him to open up your heart, you can then say, people, yes, may actually be misusing me, but I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. See, you're concerned about the mentality of others when you're doing it for public recognition. But when you're not doing it for public recognition and public gain, it doesn't matter what others do or say. You're doing it for one reason. You're doing it so that God can get the glory. And if God get the glory, I keep doing what I'm doing. Because the old church was saying, I'm not preaching, this is just a talk, but the old church would say, if when you give the best of yourself, telling the world that the Savior has come, be not dismayed. When men don't believe you, he will understand and say, well done. I am trying to get to this understanding of this 21st century church, Harry Horton, and it's really baffling me. It's really messing me up. Because we have people 60 and 70 still living for the now. And that's why the church can't make no more steps than she's making, is because we have too many now people instead of faith walkers. And here is what Satan will do. Satan will override you with your fears. And if in fact and when Satan override you with your fears, he's never bothered for you to overcome, because if you're still filled with fear, you'll never overcome with your faith. That's why it is possible for some people to come week after week, and you can use the word tithe all you want to, and they really turn you off when you get to that part. They enjoy devotion. They enjoy the choir singing, even when they're not paying attention to the directors. They enjoy all of the attributes of church. They enjoy the hugging and the fellowship. They enjoy the sermon to a certain degree. Those times they're not on Facebook and being disrespectful on Instagram while the sermon is going forth. They enjoy every aspect of ministry. But when it comes down to giving, people got a problem. And that's because people don't have faith enough to believe that if I do right by God, God will do right by me. But they're so selfish now that I want to give God my least and expect God to give me his best. What's wrong with you? You got to be psychologically challenged. If you think that what you do for God goes unnoticed, something wrong with you. Oh, I wish I had helped him with me. I couldn't use his money and buy me breakfast and knowing I hadn't given him the part of his that he had commanded for me to give. You go to a poll and vote for a politician who ain't did nothing but lie, but don't trust a God who give you brand new mercies each and every day. Something got to be wrong with this church. And so here we are. This psalm is characterized by strong contrasts, such as this Psalm 27 is filled with changes, filled with laud, L-A-U-D. This psalm is filled with lament. It is filled with lament. It is filled with laud. Well, let me just tell you, a lament meaning, are you ready? That it is a passionate expression of grief and sorrow. All right? Then it's filled with laud. It's filled with praise. He's filled with grief and sorrow. But then there's some praise, because laud is a person or their achievements highly expressed or highly praised in public context. Meaning, are you ready? He is openly praising God, bragging on God, but he's also openly having mood swings. So it is filled with laud and lament. This psalm is also characterized by two other things: persecution and praise. And let me tell you this, sisters and brothers. You can't have worship without having some warfare. You got to erase it off your mind that when you get saved, you won't have no more challenge. If that's to be the case, I would have quit and walked out and started selling something else a long time ago. Some of the meanest people I know go to church. Some of the messiest people I know go to church. And they know the Bible. They carry the Bible. Matter of fact, some of them think they are. What's your name, baby? I'm Sister Bible Way. So look, verse 1 through 6 is altogether joyous and jubilant But verse 7 through 14 is sad and plaintive. It pleads for mercy and forgiveness, verse 8 through 10. It complains of desertion in verse 10. Because there in verse 10, you will see him saying that, hey, even when or if my father and my mother forsake me, God is going to be right there. You understand that? And then the comely is in verse 12, and imminent danger is in verse 11 and 12. I told you before, David was at a breaking point. You understand? He's at a breaking point, and in this psalm, although he's in a breaking point, he still maintains some form of hope. He still believes. See, the reason why some of us, or you, or however, feel so defeated is because you let people and circumstance denounce your hope. People can say what they want to say about you, but you don't have to believe it. You don't have to be who people say that you are. I mean, look, in Psalm 27, the psalmist is in the presence of his Lord and engages in 3 conversations that help him balance the ups and downs of life. In this psalm, there are 3 conversations that's seen in these 14 verses. Are you with me? Look, if you sleep, we're going to take you on. The rest of us going to get it. He converses, verse 1 through 6. Keep your Bibles open now. I don't know what you got. What the arrow? Huh? Oh, y'all came to church this morning and didn't check the arrow? Put the arrow on 16, please. He converses with himself about privileges. All right? Verse 1 through 6. Y'all got your Bibles open? Yeah. You don't, because you're looking at me. Look, verse 27. Verse 1 through 6. Verse 1, he started out saying what? And what? Whom shall I? The Lord is the. Of whom shall I? When the what? Even mine and mine came up to do what? They did what? Though an host shall what? My heart shall not. Though war should what? In this will I what? One thing have I desired of the Lord, and that will I seek, that I may what? In the house of the Lord all the what? To behold the what? And to inquire in his what? For what? In the time of he shall in the of his shall he shall up on a, and now mine shall be above mine round them. Therefore will I in his sacrifices I will sing unto the Lord. So he converses with himself about his privileges. He said, I'm going to dwell in the house of the Lord. Oh, I can behold the beauty of the Lord. I got so many privileges being with the Lord. Then you go to verse 7. He just got through boasting on privileges. I'm trying to show you how to study the text so you don't look at me like I got Chinese juice running down my face. He says, hear me, O Lord, verse 7. When I what? Now just now he wasn't crying. Verse 1 through 6, he was not crying. But when he get to verse 7, he started what? Crying. So verse 1 through 6, he converses with himself about privileges. But verse 7 through 12, he converses with the Lord about his problem. I'm preaching better than you witness. Then, verse 13 and 14. That's what he go to. I have fainted. unless I had what? To see the of the what? In the what? Oh, the. And then he turned around. He says, listen. He's not talking to other people. He's talking to himself. Verse 1 through 6, he converses with himself about privileges. Verse 7 through 12, he converses with the Lord about problems.
Yes, sir.
But verse 13 and 14, he converses with himself about perseverance.
Yes, sir.
He converses with himself about going on. Listen, if you say you can't go on, you won't go on. I wish I had another group of people. But y'all act like I'm talking in French. Oh, it's Chinese. But look. Do you know, or have you thought about the greatest encourager for you is you? Did you hear me what I said?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The greatest encourager for you is you. If you say you're not going to make it, guess what? If you say you're not going to get out of it, guess what? You're not going to do it because you said you weren't going to do it. Look at who your mama was, or is, or daddy is. Your daddy can be a crackhead. That don't mean you have to be one. You got to learn how to encourage yourself, because other folk can lift you and encourage you all they want to. But even in other folks saying, if you don't believe it within you, it's not going to happen for you if you don't believe it in you. I'm the head and not the tail. I'm the lender and not the boss. I'm above and I'm not beneath. I don't just say it just because it sounds good. I say it because I believe it. I ain't just walking with Jesus just because it look good. I'm saved and it's just a look for me. That's a lie. I'm saved and it's a lifestyle for me. Because I have plans after this thing is all over with. I have plans. When I'm going on a trip and I know I hate driving, I have to make plans to go to the airport. And one day this life is going to be over. And I'm making plans. So the after is over. Now, not if it be over. Some of you all are living in the if. There ain't no if you die. You had looked at yourself lately. You had looked at you. Getting in out the vehicle the other day, and I said, I told Bo that we made New Orleans. I said, boy, I don't think I kind of know what Mama was talking about. Sometimes it seems like everything hurt at once. Standing up at the convention, somebody was talking to me the other day, and I don't know to this day what they were talking about. My back was hurting me so bad. And when they got through the conversation, I said, you know my back hurt? He looked at me like, I mean, yes, I know you feel good, you look good, you snapped up good today, but you dying. You dying. You got synthetic or human hair now. You look like you're doing pretty good, but baby, let me tell you something. We are all decaying. We are decaying. Now let me say this. I'm decaying and so are you. But I ain't gonna carry myself like that. In the physical realm. Meaning I don't have this sanctification that I can't fix myself up. God ain't told me to walk around and look like a junkyard dog. I'm gonna walk around and fix myself up and wear the best I can wear and do what I can do, fixing up my physical frame because a doghouse look good with paint on it. So I'm not suggesting that some religions have suggested that when you say you don't wear this, you don't wear that, don't put no makeup, don't perm your hair, don't do this, your skirt got to be dragging like a wedding dress, and you got to wear your clothes 17 sizes too big, and look like no man wants no lipstick on, your lips chapped. You're scared to wear lip chap, you still put Crisco around your, the ring on your mouth. Now, I'm not saying walk around like that. Because, see, here is what we got to understand. See, your physical frame cannot be saved.
That's right. That's right.
And people have got this thing all wrong. Your flesh cannot be saved. But your spirit keep your flesh under subjection because you represent a higher power. You see a fine woman, she just fine. Well, you go to Baptist church, Korean church, Mexican church, Chinese church, and some look good, it look good. Don't chicken look good?
Yeah.
And don't you say chicken look good?
Yeah.
Well then, you out there say, man, it look good too. Without desiring that individual in your flesh.
Right. You teaching this morning.
That's my goal, baby. They don't appreciate it. Sometimes
I hear you.
you can reverse the discouragement that you face. Listen to this. By having the right conversation with yourself. Wake up and hear me now. Wake up. I say, sometimes, many times, most times, you can reverse the discouragement that you feel. Some of y'all look like you got life all together, but you just as downtrodden as you can be. That's why some of y'all so mean. That's why some go mean as hell. I mean, they mean, and look, although they're mean, they really don't mean no harm. But they allow their own stuff. And let me tell you this, in a lot of cases, the person that you're closest to treat you the meanest. Without meaning any harm. And that's why you gotta know, you gotta learn your friend, your mate, your spouse, your cousin, them. You got to learn people. And when I say learn people, I'm talking about really learn. See, because here, this is how I operate. If I'm in a zone and I want to talk, I ain't talking. And if I do talk, when I don't want to talk, you ain't going to want to hear what I'm saying. I said, leave me alone. Shut up. Leave me alone. Down on now. But when I get to the place that I'm ready to dialogue, and I may go way around the corner before I come back.
All right.
But that's the way I operate.
Hold up.
One of the worst things we can do is not have the right conversation with ourselves. Matter of fact, 1 Samuel verse 30 chapter 30, I'm sorry, verse 6, it was even there that David encouraged himself
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
in the Lord. Are you hearing me today? I think I'll stop in just a moment. But he encouraged himself in the Lord. Are you with me?
Yes.
Our petitions will be better when we learn the reality of the sovereign God. Let me say this. And if I got some people here today that don't want to hear this, please turn your ears off. But listen, I'm trying to help somebody. One of the biggest problems, deacons, that we have, Minister Moore, in church, it's hard to convince people in someone they don't believe in.
Yes, Lord.
And you serving, but if you really don't believe, then who you serve? That's why it becomes so easy for folk to leave from one church to the next. And really, when people leave from one church to the next, and sometimes creating a church. Not creating a church, they're creating an idol. And you do know that any worship that's idol is wicked. And as well as you like some people you are connected to, you ought to thank God for separation. Idols. That's why people can't get into the service of God, Terry. That's why. That's why some folk come to church that week, they don't feel nothing, no emotion, don't move, don't shake their head, don't smile, don't do nothing. Never! Because church is only about a Sunday morning go-to, but never a spiritual tap-in. See, you can be hot and you got a fan sitting in the floor. But if you don't ever plug it in, you won't ever get no air. And essence, salt ain't good when it just stays in the salt shaker. And so unless David had believed, David said, unless I had believed in the goodness of the Lord. Isn't that what he said? In the land, and I'm done today. Oh, delivered.
Yes, sir.
Let me just clear this up for the record. I could be wrong as I can be. If I am, forgive me. Stop thinking that every reward God got for you is when you dead.
That's right.
God wants you to enjoy some stuff now. God wants you to enjoy life now. And you can enjoy life and not be reckless with your life. Some people, especially black people, black men in particular,
Yes, sir.
go out of town, ain't gonna stay but 4 hours. Better get back in my house. I better want your house. You don't even want your house. You know that hotel better than your house. I gotta get back home. For what? Can't enjoy your family? saw the rest of it yet. I'm going some more. I'm going if I got to limp, if I got to be picked up to go, move around to go. Went out of town and ran the hoover around, felt pretty good, got out the hoover around and walked around. You didn't tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Tell me nothing. I'm going to take my horse on the Old Town Road and going to ride to the can't no more. That's what I'm going to do. Do what you want to do, but I'm going to be on the move. And I'm not going to exclude God. I can still enjoy my life and be saved, and I can still have a relationship with God and enjoy my life. People get saved and get so stuck up and get so stiff. And I have preachers ask me all the time, you do that with your members? Well, first of all, I don't see myself as being greater than my members. That's one of the problems with a lot of churches. The pastor assumes, and I hope someone watching, that they're up here and the people down here. Well, see, my viewpoint is different. I view the people up here, and I'm down here. Here is why I use that. I view the people as being up here, and I'm down there because I believe I'm of the least of these. If I get so high, then I will be exalting myself, and God will get no glory. But if I stay low, he said, humble is the way. Low is the way. If you get too high, God can't use you. If you get too high, God will have to bring you down. So when I feel myself being elevated, I ask God, take me back down. Don't let me get too high that you can't get the glory out of my life. And whereas I know that there's a level of respect that members ought to have. There's a level of respect you gonna have for me. Because there's a level of respect I'm gonna have for you. Although there are those here that I have different relationships with, some in which I can use the Orlando Franklin with. Some I have to be Jesus Jr. with. Because I don't want to mislead anybody. Because everybody's not on the same level spiritually. And I understand, I respect that. But what I say to Jackie and Connie and Olita, I can't say that to everybody that come through those doors. Because somebody will come in and not come back. And that will be my fault. But some of you all catch me outside. Show you how to take my horse on that Old Town Road. I ain't drinking, smoking, so don't get that deep on it. But he says, I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. He really said, what saved me? He bring trust. He bring the trust element back into clear focus. David would have fainted, despaired, or perished. But can I tell you something? Sisters and brothers, this will help you, and I'm done. His trust was in the Lord. Oh, let me tell you. I'm not speaking of what I heard. I don't know if many of you in here have been as low as I've been. I mean, low. I've been low. All right. Food, no appetite, bed, and no sleep. Low. But my confidence remains in the Lord. And let me tell you something. You can't get in a battle that God can't conquer. I said, you can't get in a battle that God did not conquer, because he is bigger than your battle. So what he does, he took his stand upon upon the goodness of the Lord. That's what saved him. Your confidence in the Lord is what saved you. Let me say this, arrogant one. You can't bring yourself out. You can't bring yourself out. I know some people with money in the bank but no sense in the brain. You can't bring yourself out. Wealthy people got all times. Putting their shoes on their head and their hat on their feet. You can't bring yourself out. But thank God for Jesus. I said, thank God for Jesus. I said, thank God for Jesus. I said, thank God for Jesus. My confidence, your confidence have to be in the right person. That's what saved him. He says, not only did my confidence in God save me, he said, but I got to tell you what strengthened me.
All right.
He says, my confidence saved me.
All right.
I'm confident that he's going to bring. You got to walk around saying, he's going to bring me out. You got to start doing that now. You got to walk around saying, he's going to bring me out. If you look bad, he's going to bring me out. You look pretty dim and dreamy right now, but he's going to bring me out. Don't know how, don't know when, don't know where, don't know what, but I know he's going to bring me out. And how I know he's going to bring me out, he did it before. He's done it before. He's done it before. And that's why you got to hang around the right set of people. You got to hang out with folk who believe he's a do it again God. If he brought me out before, he's able to bring me out again. He's going to bring me out. That's what saved him. I'm done now. But I got to tell you one more thing and I'm through. What strengthened him. See, you can be saved, but not be strengthened. Oh, I'm preaching better than I ever have. I said, you can be saved. You believe, you have confidence, but you're real weak. And when you're real weak, Satan loves a timid mind. But when you start declaring, making bold declarations, Satan have to think twice before he bother you. You remember when he attacked old Job, he told God, I would bother him, but you got a hedge around him. You got him covered. And not only does God have Job covered, sisters and brothers, but he got you covered. He got me covered. He's not just the ex-God, but he's a right now God. He's not a God that used to cover, but he's a God that still got us covered. So, what saved him is confidence. But here's what strengthened him. Are you ready? What strengthened him? I'm done now. But what strengthened him was this. He had to wait. See, man's timing is not like God's timing. God's timing is not like man's timing. Sometimes really, with God have you waiting, God have you in the holding pattern. And what he's really doing, as long as he have you waiting, he's getting ready to bring you through. But see, while you're waiting, you got to just keep praying. While you're waiting, don't stop fasting. While you're waiting, don't stop believing. And then you'll find yourself saying stuff like, sooner or later, he's going to turn it in my favor. He's going to turn it around for me. See, you got to stop telling God about your mountain and start telling your mountain about your God. You got to change your conversation. You got to find strength in your word. There's power in what you say. You have authority right in your voice. You got authority right in your mouth. Yes, I may be sick according to the doctor, but he was wounded for my transgression. He was bruised for my iniquity. The chastisement of my peace was laid upon him. And with his stripes, I'm healed. I'm going to keep taking my medicine, but I'm healed. I'm going to keep going to see my doctor, but I'm healed. I'm going to keep doing the things that I ought to do, but I'm healed. How is it that I'm healed? Jesus healed me. Jesus healed me. Jesus saved me. Jesus strengthened me. Jesus loved me. my home. I'm not going to lose company. It look dark, but I'm going to wait. It look pretty rough, but I'm going to wait. People say I won't make it, but I'm going to wait. They sitting on the sideline counting me out, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. You think I'm in the battle by myself, but I'm really in a wrestling match. One thing a wrestler has. A wrestler, when you playing tag team, you got somebody that's on the side waiting for you to get weak. And when you get weak, you run and tag your partner. We got a partner, and we can tag. We got a partner, and we can tag. When the road get rough, when the going get tough, we got a partner that we can tag. I don't know who your partner is, but my partner, let me just tell you a little bit about him. He got hair like lamb's wool. He got feet like collard grass. My partner will show up in a sick room. My partner will show up in a courtroom. My partner will show up when you're in despair. They did my partner. They did him much harm. One Friday, they took my partner outside the room, hung him high, stretched him wide. My partner died. They put him on me. You know who my partner is back around here. But do you know who my partner is? You know who my partner is. My partner is Adam Redeemer, Amos Plumline, Joe Horse in the Valley. My partner will make you feel rich when you don't even have a dime. My partner, joy in a sad heart. Hey, you know him, don't you? Hey, his name is Jesus. I was trying to call his name. I believe if I call his name, we'll tear this place down. Jesus will bring you out. Jesus, he's acting like you know him, will bring you through. Jesus, make a way. Jesus, money down in my pocket. Jesus, put a smile on a sad face. I'm gonna stop. The door. If you're here today and you don't have a church home, or if you want to be saved, without asking anyone, you know you need a Lord over your life. And unless you had to leave, you would faint. The door of the church is open. Will you come while the blood run warm in your veins?